What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Big Stacks Porzingis, Pee Wee the Plug, 1/4 through the wire, number one Knicks fan in the world, aka Mr. Know It All. And today, I'm finally giving y'all something y'all been asking for since 2K19. We're gonna do some type of series. The reason I'm saying some type of series to start off is because I don't know if we're gonna do my league or my GM. I'm gonna let y'all decide that. Over the past couple years, I've done my league. I felt like my GM has been a little bit extra, a lot of different cutscenes. Either last year or the year before that, they even had a little storyline in there. But a lot of the things that my GM does, I feel like prolongs a series if we were to do it that route. I heard that they made some improvements this year, and it's been a little bit better. I still haven't gone in there and really tested it out too much. I plan on doing that off screen and really getting the feel for it. But what I do know is there's still some things that can make a series within the mode prolonged, like meeting with the coach, meeting with the owner, or the governor, as they call it in this year's game. You know, you still have different tasks from different people within the organization. Sometimes it doesn't make sense with the timeline of your team. Like yesterday, I played it for like, I would say probably 3 minutes just to see exactly what it was. Still didn't do too much experimenting. And yeah, I did it with the Bulls just to see, and they were telling me to get draft picks, and then I had the governor telling me we need to make the playoffs. So those are two different type of tasks for a team that's on a particular timeline, and it's like if you don't do what he says, he gets upset, and then the other person gets upset, which is realistic in a sense. But at the same time, I feel like nobody within the Bulls organization is really trying to collect draft picks. You know what I mean? Then you got to go meet with the players. It takes a longer time to sim and get through the season if we were to play with a team that's real bad. And right now, that's what I'm doing. Right now, we have the rosters in front of us, and I'm flipping through teams, and I'm trying to look at rosters to see exactly which couple of teams are we going to poll and see which one y'all choose for me to rebuild. I have the Cavaliers right in front of me right now. We still have Kevin Love here with 4 years left on his contract. We have a Tristan Thompson who's on the last year of his deal. I'm not sure if a player option is in that contract. Let me check. But yeah, I just want to put a couple of teams up on the screen this episode. Communicate with y'all. They're not even giving me the contract look like they used to. That's new. They used to let you look at the contract. Maybe that's just within my league or my GM mode. But yeah, anyway, I'm just putting a couple teams on the screen, looking through some rosters of some teams that could probably or potentially use my help, and that will create an exciting series within a my GM or my league mode. I know a lot of y'all enjoy the rebuilds. I enjoy the rebuilds, but I'm trying to make this series as realistic as possible. I'm trying to give it some real storylines, create something fun for y'all to watch, but also fun for me to continue to do. I think that's one of the main problems I always run into when I'm trying to create a series on any game, whether it's 2K, MLB, Madden. It's keeping up with that excitement to want to do it. A lot of guys on YouTube, they do like quick rebuilds, and they rebuild a team like within one episode, and I respect it, I like it, whatever. But for me, that won't keep me engaged. I need something that's realistic. I need something that's a process. I need something that's a challenge. But anyway, yeah, we're looking at this Cavalier roster. This team will probably potentially be one of the options. They have a lot going on. They have some youth, as you see, Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. Then they also have some contracts like Dellavedova. Says he's on this 1-year deal. I don't know who has what options on these contracts, so bear with me if I'm saying anything wrong off the top of my head. Like Jordan Clarkson right here is on the last year of his deal, but I'm not sure if that's an option that he'll come back. But yeah, Kevin Porter Jr., you got Brandon Knight. So there's some potential with this team. A lot of 1-year deals. Again, don't know what's up with the options, so I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's a lot of 1-year deals. Got some guys you can potentially move, like a Tristan Thompson, like a Kevin Love, to get some stuff back. And then you already have a couple of nice young pieces that you can work with or potentially build around with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, or you can let them both play it out for a year, and then after the season, after you let them both get their value up, you can dispose one of them and try to get another piece for your rebuild. This is a team that definitely has some pieces to work with, and they could be a top team to play with when it comes to rebuilding. The next team we're going to look at, what I'm looking for is you see a team like the Grizzlies. They're still in a rebuild mode, but the reason I am not going to do them, or I'm going to shy away from them, is because they already have two prominent pieces, in my opinion. Their best player is already Jaren Jackson, who's only a sophomore at 82 overall, so his potential is out of the roof. And then now this year they got Ja Morant, who's already a 79 without even touching the floor. So they already have two foundational pieces, and then the rest is kind of just building around them. I want to go to a team that I'm rebuilding top to bottom. You know what I mean? So they have those two. They took a chance on Josh Jackson. He's on the last year of his deal. So if he doesn't do shit, they can let him go. But he's still a 76 overall, only in his third year with the Grizzlies. Then they have Dylan Brooks. Josh Jackson is 22. Dylan Brooks is 23. He's in the last year of his deal, 74 overall. You have Kyle Anderson, who still has 3 years left on his deal. He's 25. He's going into the veteran mode. You still have Ivan Rabb, who's young. He's only 22. Tyus Jones is 23. Brandon Clark is a nice rookie who's 22. Grayson Allen, 23. So DeAnthony Melton is 21. So you have some solid young pieces around this team, and it's all about developing them and putting them around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. So I think they're there, in my opinion. It's just about developing their guys now. Same thing with the Hawks. You have two foundational pieces with Trae Young and John Collins, 20 and 21 years old. You drafted DeAndre Hunter along with Cam Reddish. So you have those two guys. You have Kevin Huerter, and it's all about developing that young core. But that right there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a legitimate five young player core that you're developing, and two of them are potentially all-stars this year already at 21 and 20. So I think they're already there, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with a nice young new team, is create a core that I put together my damn self and try to develop them and push them into the playoffs sooner than later. You look at another team right here. This is going to be a team that a lot of people are going to see. A lot of people are going to want to see, and that a lot of people are going to be rebuilding on YouTube. So you're going to see this team a lot with a lot of different YouTubers doing a lot of different series. The Charlotte Hornets, they really don't have shit. They don't have anything to work with. So this is why this is probably going to be one of the most popular teams that you're going to see being rebuilded. I want to do some things with them, but again, since it's going to be a popular team to rebuild, I don't know if this is the team I want to do. I don't want y'all to watch my series and then be watching somebody else's and they're doing the same exact team or, the same exact thing. But Terry Rozier is their best player, who was last year a backup point guard. He's their best player and their highest paid player going forward. Their highest paid player in salary is probably going to be Nicholas Batum. He has the 1-year deal, but I know off the top of my head that he has an option that's going to bring him back for $27 million. You also have Cody Zeller, who's making $14 million over the next 2 years. Marvin Williams will be off of the books. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist will be off of the books. That's already, $28 million off of the books with just those two. Then you have Bismack Biyombo, who's off of the books for $17 million. So that's a nice thing to have when you look at this team, is that they have the money that was tied up coming off of the books. You're still going to have a couple of guys like Cody Zeller and Batum tied up. But after one season, you're already looking at almost $40-some million off the books between three players. As far as young talent, they have a couple of things to work with. They don't really have anybody that's looking like they can be a star or a perennial all-star like the Hawks do. But Miles Bridges is solid. He's a 76 overall entering his sophomore year. You still have Willie Herman Gomez, who's a former Knick, I think highly of. I think he's real good. He's only 25. Then you have a guy like Malik Monk. Malik Monk has been inconsistent in his first 2 years, but he's shown flashes that he can be a scorer. Even his 2K overall is basically that. He's 75. He has a 3. He could be a 6-man. If you put him in the right position, I think he's a guy that can be developed in the course of a series. So if I did a series with the Hornets, he would be a focal focus point for me to develop. I think this dude could be a J.R. Smith type player in the league. Even Dwayne Bacon, he's shown flashes and was consistent for them, and gave them a pretty good campaign. He's another good wing player. So you have those two. Then you have PJ Washington, who was their lottery pick this year. He should be solid. Could be a modern type David West player. But all of those guys, even at their best right now, would be complementary pieces. This team is still lacking a guy that you look at and say he is the focal point. Even Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges at his best is touching the All-Star game or barely missing the All-Star game. But I don't see him as a guy that you look at and he's the face of the franchise. So my goal with this team would be to probably lose some games in the first year or two. And then after that, you try to draft the next face of the franchise after Kemba leaves. So the Hornets and the Cavs are the two teams right now that's on the list. Then again, I look at a team like the Sacramento Kings. This is the type of team that we would stay away from. This is the type of team I'm trying to build my next team into being. A nice young team who has a bunch of young players that are just steady developing and steady improving, and then hit the playoffs and make a big bang. Even the Knicks. The Knicks is a team I would have some interest in, but because it's my favorite team, I may stay away from it. You know what I mean? Just to do something different, something, not expected. You look at a team like the Pelicans. This is a team I see people trying to rebuild, but are you necessarily rebuilding them? They've kind of already been rebuilt. They let go of Anthony Davis and they got back Ingram and Hart and Lonzo. You draft Zion, he's an 80. You sign Favors and sign Redick. They look like what a rebuild in 2K would be. They look like somebody rebuilded this team and now it's just on the game. So they have a legitimate 2K rebuild going on and they're already intact. There's nothing to really do there for me. Then you kind of push into some different scenarios. In the back end of these teams right here, like the Phoenix Suns. I was going to start with the Thunder, but we'll just go to the Suns. I feel like the Suns are already set. Not already set, but I feel like the only thing to do with a team like this is to be able to trade Aiden and Booker. If I chose the Suns, I would just trade one of these two. Somebody would have to go. There's nothing really else here. Signing a free agent isn't really realistic. I don't think anybody's breaking their neck to come and play with Phoenix. And I don't think this team is necessarily super good to kind of make the playoffs. At best, they're still probably the 11th to 10th team in the West. And that's a probably. But you have some nice pieces that you could work with. I just don't know how much I could do with this team without trading Aiden or Booker. So I'm not really, my interest level in playing with them isn't too high. The Thunder, this is a team that my interest level is high with. Just because realistically, in real life, there's going to be a lot of guys that they're going to try to get rid of and move on from. And I feel like doing that in a series will reflect what's going to happen in real life. So first of all, as soon as Chris Paul was mentioned to be a Thunder, we all knew that he was not going to be there for a long time. You know what I mean? So he's instantly looked to be traded. And it's the same thing that you would do when you start a series with them. You would look to trade Chris Paul, obviously. Try to find something realistic. We've seen some teams have some minimal interest. The contract is the only thing that's kind of stopping it as of right now. The next guy is Danilo Gallinari. Very good player. Had a real good year last year with the Clippers. He's making $22 million, but he's on the last year of his deal. You know what I mean? So he's going to be a guy that maybe a contending team or maybe a team out there could really try to use and pick up on him on a contract year. Steven Adams, he's a guy that they were trying to trade when they still had Paul George and Westbrook. So he's still going to be looked to be traded. I'm seeing his name tied into the Boston Celtics recently. And then after that, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who you got from the Clippers for the Paul George deal. He's going to be a nice player to develop and work with. Dennis Schroeder is another guy that you could be trying to trade. Some teams out there that can really use his talents. He's only 25 as well. Then you have a bunch of other guys that you would just probably try to waive or just let hit the market after a year. But Darius Bazley and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and probably Justin Patton and even Terrence Ferguson, those are the four guys that you would probably try to develop and push forward while you're rebuilding with all of the picks that you got from the Clippers, including your own picks, and then all of the picks you could potentially get from moving a Chris Paul or maybe moving a Gallinari or Steven Adams. You probably could use one of those picks to realistically unload Chris Paul onto somebody else's team, and then you could probably get a pick back with Steven Adams or Gallinari. So there's a lot that can go on with this team. This team really doesn't have a direction. They don't have a face of the franchise. They don't really have a culture. So this is a team I like because then I can come in and implement all of those things into this organization from the very start. The next team is the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are kind of like the Suns in the sense that they have their guy, but the only thing about the Suns is the Suns have Devin Booker, but they also have DeAndre Ayton. Then they wouldn't got Kelly Oubre. Then they have Mikal Bridges. They just got Saric. So they have some things going in the right direction for them. They really do. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, they have Towns. They have Covington. But then Wiggins, you really don't know what you're getting from him. And then Culver is still just a rookie. So they don't really have like that DeAndre Ayton. You look at Devin Booker, he's 86, and then DeAndre Ayton is 82. Towns is an 89, and then the next best player on his team is Covington, who's an 80, and he's already 28. So because of that, there's a lot of different things you could do with this team. You could try to trade Karl-Anthony Towns, maybe, but he's so good that you probably wouldn't want to do that. You could probably try to trade Andrew Wiggins in his contract because he's making $27.5 million a year. He's only 24. He's a 79. Do you try to develop him? There's a lot of different things you could do with this team. Jeff Teague is on the last year of his deal with $19 million. You still have Jarrett Culver, who I really like. You can try to package Culver and Wiggins and maybe try to go and get somebody legitimate to put next to Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's just say you pick up the phone with Washington and you give up Wiggins and Culver, and you try to go and get Bradley Beal, and you do a dynamic duo of Karl-Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal, and then you also have Robert Covington on the wing defensively for that. That would be something you could do. There is something to do here. You still have Josh Okogie too, who I like. You have Keita Bates-Diop out of Ohio State, who I like. So there are some things to do here. I don't think they're like the Suns. The Suns, again, I'm not saying that the Suns are complete or anything like that, but I just don't know what would there be for me to do, really. You know what I mean? They're not going to trade Devin Booker in real life, I don't think, unless he asks for a trade, which I don't really see coming this year. They're not going to trade Ayton. I think they're going to try to push this duo, for the next couple of years until Devin Booker realistically has some leverage to ask for a trade. Rubio, they signed to a 3-year deal. I wouldn't be able to move him because I don't really know a lot of teams that are breaking their necks to try to get him. Kelly Oubre is solid. Saric is solid. So, something about this Suns team that I wouldn't really want to build with, because there wouldn't be much for me to do besides trade one of my top 2 players. I would much rather explore with the Timberwolves and do some things around Karl-Anthony Towns and build that team up than to do that with the Suns, because they don't really have a lot of pieces to trade even for a star. You would literally have to give up Ayton. I would rather give up Wiggins than have to give up Ayton or Booker. Same thing with Culver. I would rather give up Culver and Wiggins, and I see that as a more realistic thing than one of these guys moving anytime soon. Then after that, the last team is the Washington Wizards. I think Bradley Beal, could be moved. John Wall, same thing. Realistically, you would keep Bradley Beal, I guess, because he's 26. And I don't know who won John Wall. That would be the challenge of trying to move John Wall or trying to figure out what you do. Do you move Wall and Beal just so you can get rid of Wall's contract? Do you try to push this team around Beal? There's some stuff here. You do have Thomas Bryant, who I think will make a significant leap. Bertans is here. Isaiah Thomas, Ruchi Hachimura is your lottery pick. So if you did trade Bradley Beal, you would have a nice return if you got some young pieces. Say you were the Wizards and you traded him to the Timberwolves and you got Wiggins and Culver back. You would have Wiggins, Culver, Thomas Bryant, Bertans, he's only 26, Ruchi Hachimura, Troy Brown Jr. So that would be a nice young core. Mo Wagner, Admiral Schofield out of Tennessee. There will be some things here. Depending on the return that you can get from Bradley Beal, there could be some stuff that could lead you into the right direction of a rebuild, and that can be something exciting. Same thing with Wall. They don't have Wall injured here, but I would probably put injuries on to start the series. And maybe if you trade both of them, you can get even more. You know what I mean? And they're not going to be a good team if you trade them. Even if you keep them, you probably won't be that good, especially if you're injuring John Wall and not letting him play. Then they probably will be another year in the lottery. But those right now are pretty much the options. So to review, we did the Washington Wizards, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, and then there's probably a couple of more left, so we probably got a solid 5. The Hornets, and then the Cavaliers. So we're looking at the Cavaliers, Hornets, Wizards, Timberwolves, and Thunder. Y'all let me know. I might do a poll on Twitter or something like that. Y'all let me know which team y'all would like to see, which team could be exciting. And I know it's not a face video in here like my other videos. I'm just trying some different things, trying different setup as far as these 2K videos, just to try to give y'all some more content, get it out quicker and easier as possible. Just testing some different things out. Another goal I have for the series is to really make these episodes between 10 and 15 minutes. I'm not trying to do anything less or do anything more. This video is starting off at 20 minutes just because we did reviews of rosters for potential teams. But when we really start the series, I'm trying to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes and keep it real simple, real short, get to the point, and move on. Other than that, y'all let me know, like I said, what mode would y'all like to see, GM, my league, or would y'all like to see, or what team would y'all like to see, excuse me. So my league, my GM, and then drop a vote for what team you would like to see to create one of the most exciting series on YouTube. I'm Pee Wee the Plug, Big Stacks Porzingis. Thank y'all for watching. I am out.